Outlaw Mudshow Drive-In.
Starting at I think 17 through 24, I think is probably the biggest hot streak, in my opinion, for Manias. I think pretty much all of those ones in a row are some of the best Mania cards from top to bottom. It's really when they started doing a lot more of the stadium shows, with the exception of 2 in the middle. But I think match-wise, they all felt pretty epic, and they all had some pretty big moments at them. Like 17, Sunday Night Heat match, we have X Factor defeating Grandmaster Sexay and Steve Blackman. Then we start off the actual
Uncle Cracker,
card.
by the way, great theme.
I love that theme.
It was good.
We have Chris Jericho retaining the IC title against William Regal. Taz and the APA defeating the Bull Buchanan, Goodfather technically, and Val Venus. Kane winning the hardcore title from Raven and Big Show. And that was a super fun match. Eddie Guerrero defeating Test for the European title, which underrated short contest. Test, I think, was underrated. Eddie Guerrero, he still wasn't 2002 Eddie Guerrero yet, but he was still 2001 Eddie Guerrero is still better than most other wrestlers. But then a year later, once he came back healthy, he was just on a completely new level. Kurt Angle defeated Chris Benoit. I don't want to say this next match is the miss of the show, but it's probably the only kind of forgettable moment. But it makes sense because you want China to look like a beast. China defeating Ivory for the women's championship. Another awesome match right here. Shane McMahon defeating Vince McMahon. Then my favorite match of all time. Edge and Christian defeating the Dudleys, defeating the Hardy Boys in a triple threat ladder match.
Whoa! You said once in a lifetime, Joe.
I never said that. Mohamed said that.
Hey, this is a TLC match. The last one was a triangle ladder match. There is a difference.
This is TLC 2.
Yeah, this TLC 2. TLC 1 was at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
The last WrestleMania was a triangular ladder match.
That's
triangular,
right.
Not a triple threat tag team.
Yeah.
A triangular.
And TLC 3 was a couple months later with Benoit and Jericho added in.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a really fun gimmick battle royal, which includes Jim Cornette in it. But it's won by Iron Sheik.
Bobby Heenan and Gene Okerlund on commentary.
Yes, and they do a great job, and it just felt great to hear them on commentary because it was such a weird month because, about 6 weeks earlier, ECW filed for bankruptcy. A week earlier, WWF bought WCW, so you really had no idea what the hell was going on, and seeing Heenan back was just awesome.
It wasn't the WWF that bought WCW in actuality. The contract did say McMahon. However, the name on the contract was Shane.
Triple H versus The Undertaker. Of course, Undertaker wins. Another great match. And then the story that unfolds in Austin versus The Rock is just amazing. Has the greatest hype package of all time. And the post-match Vince McMahon Steve Austin handshake was epic. It's not the end of the Attitude Era, but is the end of the Austin versus McMahon bookend. It's like I was at a really odd time because it was like I was 13, so wrestling really wasn't super popular with a lot of people anymore, and Austin shaking Vince's hand was almost like people closing the book on professional wrestling. It's like they were just like, nope, I don't want to see that, and they were done with it. I loved it, but the heel run didn't really take off as well as it could have, should have. I think a lot of that is
just things were happening at the same
yes,
time.
Exactly. There was too much stuff with real life things happening with WCW and ECW to invest in a full on Austin heel turn. But it was still the moment that sold you. It was a fantastic moment, great match. And for me, it's the best WrestleMania of all time. It's my favorite WrestleMania of all time. The one I've seen the most. Pete, what do you think of WrestleMania 17, or as they call it in corporate, X-Seven?
Probably the best WrestleMania. I would totally agree with you, Joe. Pretty much every match is solid. Looking at that, that sellout at the end with Austin. I remember watching it back then. I didn't expect it. I honestly didn't. I was absolutely shocked because obviously them two have been rivaling, since the wheel was invented. So that was a shocker. That Undertaker match, that was the one where they went in the crowd, wasn't it? And he choke slammed him into the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, off the scaffolding.
Real fun match. And even back then, you thought, Undertaker's on a winning streak. But I had my moments where I think, shit, he's going to beat him. Like, every time he kept kicking out all them pedigrees and everything. But, the right man won, obviously. Yeah, exactly. With the last ride, wasn't he? Hitting with it. My all-time favourite hardcore match, Kane, Raven and Big Show. I'll always go back to watch that one. Like I say, Joe, super fun going into the back with those golf carts. Yeah. I can't remember how many times people got smashed through glass as well. Real fun. Angle Benoit, 5-star match all day. I can't say nothing else about that. Chris Jericho, Regal. That was a fun little rivalry. That was when Regal first came in, wasn't it? That was his first rivalry.
Pretty much, yeah. It was his first major one. He had Al Snow at first, also.
Because he was doing the
he was the commissioner at the time. So
yeah.
This was his first teapot, didn't he, or something?
This is his first big time rivalry since he became commissioner.
Yeah. Fun 6-man tag match. Obviously, TLC match. You can't, I can't slight that at all. It's fantastic. Like I said, best and the Gimmick Battle Royal. That was a lot of fun. Seeing some of the old wrestlers come back. It's always a nice nostalgia trip. So yeah, probably the best WrestleMania by far. What do you think, James?
It was a great pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. Again, I did enjoy Chris Jericho versus Will Regal. I'm big fans of them. I don't remember much of the Triple Threat Hardcore match, but I can assume at that time it was fun. And it beat Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. I did remember Chyna versus Ivory. It needed to be the way it needed to be for her, even though she fought dudes, so it's it's okay. She can kill Ivory and stuff.
Yeah. You guys think about if this match happened now, Chyna would have been roasted online.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Wow, I can't believe they buried Ivory that hard.
Exactly, and you can never go wrong with a Vince McMahon match because he always go up and above and stuff like that. Yes, so his matches never disappoint. And Table of Ladder Chairs for the Tag Team Championship. Sorry, not the Triple Threat match. Triple Threat ladder match from a year before. Yes, was awesome. Only because Edge and Christian, they're gonna have, to bring the tables. We're gonna bring the Rhino. And I thought that was great because even Rhino and Lita and Spite had their spots. It was a great match.
Yeah, but only Lita took her top up, though. I was thinking Spike was going to do the same.
It's still a family show at that point. Gimmick Battle Royal Love.
Really? Rest of 2001 was the family show?
I just got to take your line, Master. He doesn't have to take your line.
It was like a week or two earlier, Vince was having Trish Stratus take her top off and bark like a dog.
I just had to say they just popped in my head like Master Heater said it's a family show, so I have to throw that out there. Gimmick Battle Royal was great. Nice seeing the Brain and Mean Gene. They even did little vignettes in the back with Moolah and Mae Young. Doink. Well, not the original Doink, but they showed up Doink. Even Michael P.S. Hayes came out with the Confederate robe. It was funny. And now, before I say that, the last two matches, The Rock versus Stone Cold was a great match, and it was good. And I've liked with Joe, they shook hands. That's how it's supposed to be. But to me, my main match, and I'm sorry, Master Heat, I got to take your little gimmick, is The Undertaker versus Triple H. Because being a Triple H mark, I was slightly rooting for him. It's like, if anyone could beat the Streak, it'd be Triple H. And I was like that, like, he's going to do it with the sledgehammer and this and that. But you know what? I have to say this today on March 7, 2021, 10:51 a.m. Eastern Time. My love for The Undertaker outgrew my love for Triple H for that one match. And I knew The Undertaker would come through. But it was a great match, and it was awesome. And I just hope they don't ruin it by having multiple matches.
Still my beating heart.
When you said that thing about like backstage vignettes, it got me thinking. It's like, this is one of the trend-setting manias too, because it's like after this, there was pretty much always legends backstage at Mania. Like this is almost like the first of a postmodern WWF world right here, where in the past they'd always talked about the past, but this one here, it's like they actually brought it in, and then they just never really stopped bringing in legends after that. And they did it better back then too, because it was actually like, legit people you haven't seen in a while, as opposed to, this ain't disrespect to like Mark Henry, but like when you see Mark Henry on Legends Night, when you just see him, a couple months earlier on a different program, it doesn't have quite the same effect.
Yeah.
What did you think, Mohamed?
Honestly, I'd say this is the first WrestleMania that they actually marketed as the biggest show in all of sports and entertainment.
Yeah.
This is where the premise of WrestleMania started taking shape. It's one of, if not the best, opening videos ever in WrestleMania history.
Goosebumps, legit right now. Just think about it.
Yeah. That whole thing where they show you people from all around the world watching it, and they tell you, and they just said WrestleMania is a celebration of life. It takes you out of that. It's whole like this is just wrestling thing into this is something big. This is a huge happening that's going on. This is the Oscars and the World Cup Finals, and
it was their most cinematic
Super Bowl
thing at the time. Also, it's like the shots they showed of like the people throughout the world watching.
Yeah,
it looked beautiful.
It looked to me. Now, granted that people were watching in the daylight while it should have been at nighttime, but that's another thing altogether. That hurts me nowadays. But it was so great, and then the use of the song "My Way," even like in that first video where they have the golden thing and the wrestlers are shown in black and white going up and just one, and that entrance ramp and again, like you said, the matchup build-up video might be the best thing of all time. It's especially because when I was listening to My Way before, I would say this is like that part where he just drops it, like where the music just gets stripped away, and you'll be the one missing me, and then and I'm thinking if they do this in a video, this is where it should pick up, and boy, did they deliver on that. They just. Joe's gonna probably watch WrestleMania X-Seven right after we finish recording it. Wow. I mean, honestly, wow. It is like I said, this is where it became beyond wrestling and became the same thing. But if you look at the matches too, like compare it to the previous WrestleMania, this is where pretty much everything was a high stakes match. And you were settling something, and it wasn't just a moving it on or a placeholder match or anything. Like Chris Jericho and William Regal was a blow off.
Well,
and
they still went to the Backlash
They did.
They usually did
But
that. They did rematch. They did rematch
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
get
they
what you're
did
saying,
rematch,
though.
Yeah, but it's like it's again the same thing as well, because when you think about it, this is also where they hold off on the matches you're going to have at WrestleMania.
Mhm.
You just try as much as possible not to have them right before.
Exactly. It was the boiling point
Before
show.
Mhm.
Yeah. Taz and the APA versus the Right to Censor was a really good match. But
Mhm.
the one bad thing about WrestleMania was how long the tramp is, because you had to hear that annoying siren. Warning, warning.
But
warning.
God, it's like in that match there, like Taz and APA, they looked like such badasses when they were walking down that ramp.
Oh God! I think this might be, since his debut at Royal Rumble 2000. This was the best look they ever had for Taz. Was him just standing in the rampway waiting for the APA to come out and back him up. That was amazing. And that promo that Bradshaw cuts before they go, where he says, "This is the Astrodome," and he talks about, like, again, they keep pushing you that this is a big thing, this is a big deal. And Paul Heyman on commentary. Oh my God!
Fuck yeah!
Oh my God!
Let me say one thing. I miss Paul Heyman on thing. The famous line I got, not for wrestling, but just in general on Raw. He was talking to JR, and they was arguing. He like, I looked up on the Ross report, don't you? And I like, oh, for that. Like, don't remember the Ross report and stuff like that. So yeah. I really do miss Paul Heyman being on the commentary.
He was so good at needling JR. Like,
he was. Honestly, when he joined, like, of course, the Attitude Era shaped, a lot of my fandom. So it's like, in your head, you're like, oh yeah, JR and Lawler are it. But I was loving ECW at the time, so having him and JR together was fantastic. And that, like, 6-month period that they had from March until November was amazing. I think they had great chemistry, and it worked because both guys knew the industry and both guys had respect for the industry.
They were both quick on their feet.
Yeah,
as well.
I loved them together as a team.
They reacted to each other fast enough that it's so good. Like, you would think they'd be mismatched, but they're not. They gelled.
Yeah.
And it goes like, for example, when they had that the hardcore match, and backstage, the fighting between Kane, Raven, and Big Show, and they go through their freshman stand, and JR is so good when he does those, little snarky comments where he goes like, or sarcastic, where he goes, yeah, well, there goes the Snapple. and Heyman just punches right in and goes like, it's my favorite flavor too, kiwi and strawberry or something, and I can't remember, it's peach and something. But it's so good. It's so good. Like, Guerrero and Test. Again, this was like, I guess this was like, if you're ever getting your first look at Test, this is a good match.
It was,
because he couldn't throw a better than Eddie Guerrero. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. Again, Kurt Angle had one of the best backstage pre-match preparations thing that's happening. If you remember, where he was like looking at Chris Benoit, making him tap out, and then Edge and Christian come up to him and he says, well, if it wasn't an original match. And Angle was just off his WWF Championship run, where he had that amazing match with The Rock where he lost, and you could see that Kurt Angle's like, well, this is a dangerous man now. You don't mess with this. He's goofy as shit, but
he does that.
But you don't want to get this guy. Yeah.
He has like those breaking points where it's like, he did it in 2001 here. Also later again in 2001, 2002 he did it. It's like he'll do those things where after he takes a defeat, he just powers through and just becomes a complete beast.
Yeah, he's. Yeah, Angle's awesome. Shane and Vince. I'm not gonna go through China and Ivory again. Again, this was also withheld from the VHS, which I saw. But we're not gonna get into reasons,
Yeah.
But after I saw it, it had to be that way. I mean, like, he couldn't. It had to be satisfying for everyone, thinking that China was put on the shelf because of Ivory, that she had to come out or something.
And she was actually doing her first woman match, so yeah, like, taken serious. Yeah. I don't know how to say it the proper way.
Did she have Wait, no, I got her confused with Shawn Michaels, where WrestleMania 19, where he was picking up all the cannons. I was thinking about her cannon thing, where she was doing the thing, and I was
Okay, I gotcha.
She had the one. She had the one.
I was waiting for you to say that. But yeah, it's like, yeah! It's just like, it's weird.
I was gonna kick you off for this pod by being like, did you just confuse China and Shawn Michaels?
No, I confused a little bit. Well, they were both in EX. Come on.
Yeah, it's 2000. Everything's crazy then, Joe.
Yeah, I was drinking a lot of Coca-Cola back then. Now it took me a little. Shane and Vince was, a spectacle. It's probably Shane and Vince was probably the most emotionally charged match on that card. Which makes up for both of them not being wrestlers and so forth.
Yeah.
And again, this match, if it happens today, the boss man wants to be the one shining and no one else.
Oh no, they will love it
would
because
be like
they will love it because it's the perfect catalyst of Shane doing crazy moves and Vince doing out of this world heel tactics. So they'll love it for the spectacle of it. Yes.
Both guys can bump too. Like they both aren't afraid to do high spots. Like I respect the fuck out of both Vince and Shane when it comes to in-ring competition.
Vince was on the verge of dying, I think, in that match with Zach Gowen, where that vein in his head just gets sprouting blood all over the place. And I was like, shit, someone's got to stop this match. He's gonna die. He's gonna die of blood loss.
And to see how cool he is, the last year, not last. You remember the Baron Corbin and Elias? Elias. Vince took that bump to test it out. 70 years old, he took the bump. Like, see, this is how this works. I don't see us doing that in our 70s. Like, let's follow this thing here and see what happens.
70s, screw that. I don't see me doing that now.
Exactly. See, and even though there's a cushion down there, still like Oh
yeah. Anyway, the TLC 2 match, which is completely different than the match they had the year previous.
There was no ladders and chairs involved. You're right.
Well, I think there were chairs involved. There were tables involved in the first one on the triangular.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah.
But this also the thing that this one had over the other one was that it was more of Edge and Christian being just dicks all the whole time. Like they were leaning into they were heels in the previous one, but they were heels in this one to do that much just Rhino, picking up Christian and just climbing him up the ladder. That was a great visual.
He was a Rhino. That's what you're supposed to do.
And speaking of great visuals, the match had one of the clips that they play the most in Mania packages and ladder match packages of the spear by Edge onto Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
And Edge always likes to remind us that people ask him how many times he rehearsed that, and he did not rehearse it.
I wouldn't rehearse it.
It's something you don't try to revert.
One and done.
If you rehearse it, you're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless Vince McMahon does it for you, like that.
Could you imagine Vince trying that? Oh my god.
Oh god. Boy. I did not peg the Iron Sheik to win the Gimmick Battle Royal.
No, me neither.
I think we pegged no one.
I know.
Like, who's the most healthiest one that can walk?
Gotta love Bobby Heenan because when Sergeant Slaughter came out, they showed this little montage of him. The only wrestler they did that for, and then they showed the face of Sergeant Slaughter, back when he was young, and then they cut to the Statue of Liberty. So Gene Okerlund says, "What a fine-looking young man," and just Heenan comes out and a nice-looking statue. It's like he got again. Also, a best thing about this WrestleMania pacing. They put that battle royal in there.
Yeah.
Because you just watch TLC 2 and you're probably at like a level of excitement here. We need to take you down here a little bit, not all the way down here, but just here, because we still got 2 banger matches to come. And which brings us to the Undertaker versus Triple H. How much time do we have on this pod?
No, I have to say one comment about that I forgot, and you forgot too, Joe. Triple H came out Motorhead.
Yeah,
it was fucking.
Fuck yeah.
There was one entrance he came out, and I'm thinking there's 2 entrances. Well, I like all his, but there was one where I know he came on Motorhead, and there was one when he came underneath the stage and he just popped out of nowhere with the band. I don't remember.
We all Motorhead, and we're here to kick your ass.
21.
Yeah. Yes. When he came up from the stage and stuff. Yes. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Gotta fill in there.
But speaking of which, I remember when he came out on stage while Motorhead was playing, that was one of the loudest pops of the night.
Yeah.
Yes. It was awesome. Look at it,
Undertaker, but I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it because, they gave you that wide angle and just the figure comes out on stage and you hear that whole place go, come unglued, like, whoa.
I was looking at it on mute and still got chills because it just Member Bears. I remember how awesome it was, like him walking down there and everything and stuff like that. Like Triple H was a badass. Yes, that's why I was like, yes, he can do it.
And he was like,
then,
well, if I'm not gonna win, at least I'm gonna out entrance him. Which it kills me to say that on that night he did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, wow, and that match was so awesome and the build up to that match was one of the best build-ups, honestly, of WrestleMania matches they had. It's like you have Undertaker, you have Triple H, you want to get them together, and if you're just gonna shotgun it out of nowhere, make them feud, that was the way to do it. Just have Triple H say he beat everyone, and Undertaker come out and say, no, not me.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm glad it was once of a lifetime match.
Yeah, just like Austin and Rock.
Yeah, I'm building it. I'm building something up for that one.
Yeah, we'll get the payoff for that 2 weeks from now still. Yeah.
See? That's easy to get to.
Yeah. Yeah, I always thought about it this way, like speaking of which, because after 27, even when he lost, he said, like, I even faced him at WrestleMania before, but I never saw him, but he never was like this before, which is kind of, Anyway, I'm one of those advocates that thought, that the streak should consist of unique opponents each and every time.
Me too. Me too.
But, we got what we got, which is not bad. Still.
I'm not saying it was that bad. It just like, why?
I know. I'm just.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll get into that 2 weeks from now, I guess.
Yeah.
This is only, I mean, like, we only have 4 hours on this podcast, so I don't think. Joking, Joe. I'm just kidding. Don't. And then Steve Austin versus The Rock. I think out of their trilogy, this is the best one.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's not saying that the other two were bad, but it's like the first one was the best match to be first. This was the best match to be the payoff. The third match was the best finale that they could have.
Well, yeah, it works perfectly.
One was exactly, and having it like this huge big field thing that they actually made you feel like this is the first time these two guys are going against each other. And I was honestly happy for The Rock coming in as champion because last time they were facing, Rock came out first, and I thought, well, that's not fair. But this one, the Rock came out second, and he was like, he did the thing for the crowd, and you felt, whoa, okay, that's a champion right there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he couldn't finish the entrance because Steve Austin, jumped him. And I can't say more about the ending than what was already said. Like, it was really, really good. Vince McMahon coming out like that, scorned the guy because just got his ass kicked by his son in front of the whole world, and you think this guy's just bitter. He's coming out here, but him turning to Steve Austin, him turning on The Rock and joining with Steve Austin was one of the best drug pulls, one of the best swerves, one of the best shockers of all time. I think it's the most infamous image from WrestleMania 17 is Austin and Vince McMahon just shaking hands.
I don't think anyone saw it coming.
Yeah.
No, and I had, again, pay-per-view party, I had a lot of friends cussing at the damn TV and upset.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I loved it. It's like they did their job. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
It's wrestling is supposed to move you emotionally. That's what it happens, and that's exactly what they did.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, I don't think 17 is my favorite, but there is an argument for it being the best WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say. I mean, I will explore it further down the line now because that run, like Joe said, next run of WrestleMania is pretty damn good.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us on the Outlaw Mudshow Drive-In. If you like that video, please subscribe to our channel for more content from the Drive-In. For full episodes of our podcast, please look us up on Anchor.fm or Spotify. Just search for Outlaw Mudshow Drive-In. Please leave us a comment and a like. Tell us how you feel about us, how you feel about the topic we discussed, how you feel about anything. The world's your oyster. Go nuts. And if it's not too much trouble, please help us out here. Share, spread the word. Thank you. We love you. Bye.